So today is going to be a voiceover day because the guy running the camera, the guy doing the talking, either forgot to turn on the receiver on the microphone set or it wasn't plugged in all the way because there's no audio. So I'm just blabbering on about what we're going to do here. I'm going to take my dad's battery pack trimmer, which is really nice. It's got a nice long wand and it's got a disc that spins with a blade on it. And then there's a battery pack that you wear on your back and you walk around and trim trees. And it usually works at least 2 to 3 hours with a fresh battery. Now, I called my dad and told him I was coming to trim trees, so I told him to get it ready, and he said, yeah, it's good. Well, what that meant is that he knew where it was, and that was about it. So I'm about to find out that the battery was not fully charged. I trimmed maybe, I'd say 10, 12 trees, and it died on me. It was getting slower and slower. I could have kept going. As you can see, there's a high-tech hook up here. You put the two clips on and the trimmer starts up. There's no on-off switch because you never put one on, and I would have put one in line so you can flip it on and off as you need to. But right now the saw, or the blade I should say, is running. Now the pack, it's not too heavy, but it's nice to have the battery on your back. It's got a nice padded shoulder straps, and then it's got a nice waist strap that you can tighten up and take the weight off of your back by tightening up the waist strap. So it's kind of nice. And it's got the wand, and as you can see, it's already spinning. I don't know how many RPMs it is, but it's flying. So what's nice about the wand is it's got a nice color balance on the back side. So you basically don't have to lift much. You just use your left arm as the pivot, and it works pretty good. And you can reach a lot higher with this than the Husqvarna one, which I'm going to be using in a little while here because the battery dies. And so yeah, you can stand back a ways and see a little better, I think, with this. It is a little slower, I gotta say. My Husqvarna trimmer with the bar that's on there is quite a bit faster because you're taking a wider swath. Whereas this, that little disc, I don't think it's more than 8 inches, maybe 10 at the most. But you can reach up a little higher with it, which is nice, and you can be more precise because you're able to go in between branches and give that thing a little flick of the wrist, and you can take off individual little pieces pretty easily. So yeah, you can reach up to the top. You're going to see I'm going to stand up there, and you can't see it, but I'm trimming the top down now, and you can reach quite a bit higher with this. Now, they make other Husqvarna models than the one I have for trimmers that have longer arms on them with a cutting head that is similar to this in length, in that it's kind of out towards an end, and you got a longer wand to work with. So they do make them. I just don't happen to have one, and I'm pretty sure the professional model ones that they do make are better vibration controlled, dampened wise. The one I have is it shakes your hands pretty good. So I just trimmed out a little tree there that was in between two, that I'm going to take a tree where I was just trimming there and trim that one up, and then this one. So a lot of times when there's 2 or 3 trees growing in a bunch, you take them out. So again, I'm just hitting the tips here. This is where I think my trimmer's a lot faster because these little trees, you can't really do much with this trimmer pack. You just kind of go around and you kind of hit them one at a time. But yeah, that's about all there is to it. You just kind of zip them up and walk around in circles, and you try to get a pattern. A lot of times I'll trim branches on trees that are growing where we don't want. I think that's a walnut tree right there growing. And there's a lot of them on the land. I just trim off branches where they're hanging over the balsam trees. So there's a group of 3 here. I'm going to trim all these up, but I think I get the first one down here in the batteries. I could tell the spinning disc on the end, the blade is getting slower and slower, and I could hear it winding down. So I knew it was going to die. So right about here, I'm realizing it's dead. I'm saying it's ridiculous. That's what I don't like about battery anything. They die on you, you're done. Gas-powered stuff, you put more gas in and go. So that's one of the benefits of having gas power. Plus, you do have more power. You just do. You can get a bigger engine, whereas on anything that's electrical, you're a little more limited on power, unless you go real big, and they don't make much like that now. So this trimmer, like I said, it's a gas-powered one. It runs on mixed gas, just like a chainsaw. I think it's a 25 cc. I've had it on other videos where I've shown it. But you can see how I can get a wider swath of cutting all at one time. You can really shape the tree really nice with this compared to the little tree trimmer. But I can't reach as high, as well anyway. I got to kind of one-hand it sometimes to get the very tops of the trees. But all 3 of these trees here should have been trimmed last year, and they weren't, because they would have filled out not got so long, because now I'm hacking them back quite a bit, so they might not even be ready for this year. They might have to be next year trees. But some people like skinnier trees, or ones that are, whatever, and they're plenty tall for going in a house. But when you trim them back pretty strong like I did there, it scares a lot of people away, because then they think, oh, it's been butchered. Well, it has, but they do fill out. And on the comments on the last time I did a video on trimming trees, people were asking me how long a tree takes to be harvested. In really good soil, really good conditions with a lot of rain, you can usually harvest a tree in 8 to 10 years is very normal. But if you get drier conditions, it can be 12 to 14, even 15 years. And it also depends on what kind of tree. Obviously, just like any other crop, depends on your soil, your fertilizer, and your water. Water's huge. The more you water, the more they grow. It's just all there is to it. And if you got good fertile soil, they take off a lot better. This is better ground where these trees are than where the other trees were on the other videos that I did. This is on the low ground here, kind of the river bottoms, the old river bottoms. And this trims up really nice here. You can see that there's a tree that's grown here. I think that's a Russian olive tree, if I remember correctly. It's very invasive. It's not a native species. I think that's what that was, Russian olive. And nasty tree. They got thorns on them, and they grow a lot in Wyoming. That's an invasive species there. The reason I know that is some of the areas we deer hunt out there have them, and they go through from time to time, and they'll cut them all down. They just butcher them, but they grow right back. Well, we're going to speed things up here pretty quick. You saw enough of me moving around like this. I'm going to make the fast guy show up now, and he's going to fly around, and I'm going to trim 100 trees or so, something like that. I think I did well over 100 trees that day. You're not going to see all of them, but you're going to see a lot of them. So get that top. There you go. Okay, let's speed this thing up. Get it into warp speed here. Here we go. So now we'll slow it down. This guy moves a little slower. You can see what he's doing. Basically, again, just taking the tips off, trying not to butcher it too bad. But again, because some of these trees, it was 2 years since they got trimmed. Some of them need a little bit more of a haircut. This one's not a real big tree, so it's probably going to be good next year. But yeah, you just go up and down, and I don't know how many trees I trimmed. I didn't show you all of them, but there was a bunch, that is for sure. There was quite a few trees I trimmed that day. Maybe 100, maybe more. I don't know. A lot. Now we're going to go load some wood. Get out of the way. So I just backed up to this pile right here. This is all that's left. So there was wood all the way through here. And then from where the trailer is, all the way to the front of the truck, this was all wood, and I've hauled it back. So I got 3 loads out of here so far. And then I'm going to take this. There's probably a face cord, third of a cord, maybe a little more than that, right in that pile. And then there's a bunch up over there that I'm going to throw in too. So got to get chucking because the rain's coming. Look at the beautiful load of wood. It's all super dry stuff. It's all like 5 years old. And I didn't show you this pile over here before I started, but this is where it was. It started right here, went down to that post, and it was about 6 feet high. So, and it was 2 rows. So it was a little less than a full cord, probably 2.5 face cords. So 5/6 of a cord, and then the other one was about a face cord. So in the trailer right now there is probably a little less than 4 face cords or a full cord and a third. And right over here is where the other row was. So it started right here at this tree originally, and it went all the way to that tree, that dead one. There's a nice oak right there we got to get cut up, and then it went over to that pallet over there that's up against there. So, and I left these chunks. There's lots of oddballs in here that we always throw in, and my brother will pick those up because he's got a boiler, so he'll burn those. There's a bunch more over here, and there's a bunch of rounds that never got split or stacked right here laying on the ground. So we'll pick all those up pretty soon and come in here one day and load up his trailer. And I don't know, there's probably a face cord worth of odds and ends. I got something to show you here. This right here is the remains of a 55-gallon drum that was out here. And see the bullet holes? I put a lot of those bullet holes into that. And that drum used to be right here. Right here's the ring in the drum, and here's the rest of it. And that barrel was there when I was a kid. We used to ski out here, cross country ski, and then make fires. And so we'd burn it in the barrel. And I remember as a kid, the barrel was starting to go. It was kind of starting to cave in. And my dad said when he was a kid, he made fires in that barrel. So that barrel's been there 80 years maybe. And so yeah, we used to come out here all the time. That's all that's left is a couple little pieces of metal. So anyway, kind of cool. This is the woods that when I was a kid, this is probably, goes from there to there. I'd say this is maybe a 5 or 6 acre woods, this corner piece back here. Shot a lot of deer back right in this area here. Shot my first deer right where the road is that my dad put in here going across this low spot and the end of one of his ponds here. I shot my first deer right over here with a bow when I think I was 14 right there. And I shot my first buck back over that way. And here's one of his ponds, and there's the big lake is over there. That's a 7-acre lake. This is just like a 1-acre pond here. And so yeah, a lot of memories here growing up, and my dad's thinking of selling it, which we're not all happy with. We don't want him to sell it. We can't control him, so he's gonna do what he's gonna do. It's his land, he can do what he wants. And so anyway, we got it loaded, and I am now gonna head for home. When I get home, it'll be dark out, so I'll be dumping this tomorrow, and you're gonna see that tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. When you come back, between now and then, you're gonna go to my channel. You're probably gonna watch a bunch of videos because you're good at it. You're a highly skilled professional video watcher, and there's 1,200 waiting for you to watch. That's it for tonight, folks. Good night, Irene.